I know that your intentions are good. Just don't think that you know what you've gotten yourself into.
I have reached out to Mr. Gascon directly, asking for an explanation of why they still haven't made a decision to prosecute.
Outside the Hall of Justice Thursday, Gascon's challenger in next month's election, Nathan Hochman.
If it requires me to hold a press conference every single day, I would do it for the victims.
This video is addressed to Nathan Hochman, the future DA of Los Angeles, and congratulations on that, sir. I know that there are many people on all sides of the political aisle who are very happy to see Gascon go, but I know that you're a very busy man, and so I want to get to the point here. I'm afraid that you are in the process of committing a political error, a political faux pas that you're going to regret. So I'm talking about Marilyn Manson, Brian Warner, and I'm talking about the Me Too hoax that has been perpetrated against him for 4 years now by a number of women headed up by the actress Evan Rachel Wood and Esme Bianco, the Game of Thrones actress, the woman that you have been publicly supporting and that you stood next to at a press conference or rally. I know that your intentions are good, but I just want to make sure you understand or you're aware of certain aspects of this situation. One of the primary accusers in all of this, a woman named Ashley Morgan Smithline, she came forward and in an official legal affidavit, she declared that this whole thing was a hoax orchestrated by Evan Rachel Wood and that she was pressured to lie about Manson and to accuse him of abuse when she said that he really, in fact, did not abuse her. This is an official legal declaration, which, by the way, the other accusers in this have not provided an official document under penalty of perjury. And she declared that the whole thing is a hoax and a lie orchestrated by Evan Rachel Wood and that she was pressured into accusing Manson falsely. I wonder also if you're aware of the fact that Evan Rachel Wood, the primary accuser in this and the orchestrator of this and the recruiter of the other accusers, I wonder if you're aware that she falsified an FBI document. She typed up a fake FBI document and signed a real FBI agent, falsified this agent's signature in family custody proceedings with her ex-partner and the father of her child, Jamie Bell. And in this falsified document that she submitted to court, she claimed that she was an important witness in an investigation, an FBI investigation against Marilyn Manson. And she claimed this in this falsified document because she was trying to provide reasons why she had kidnapped her son from his father, Jamie Bell, and was withholding him from his father. And so this was her excuse that she was basically running away from Manson and was terrified and all of that. She ended up losing custody, by the way. This is all documented. She ended up losing custody because of her shenanigans. This was in family court. But I'm just saying we're dealing here with a woman, the woman who orchestrated this whole thing, and the primary accuser is someone who's out there falsifying FBI documents. I wonder, sir, if you're also aware that one of the other main accusers in this situation, Bianca Elaine, she goes by various names, that she did a hour-and-a-half podcast several years ago in which she directly contradicted a number of the claims that she then later made in her lawsuit against Manson. So 2 different stories. The first story, much more benign and didn't include any accusations of anything happening when she was underage. And so again, like a whole contradictory story that she's out there on record, on tape, telling. I wonder if you are aware that another of the main accusers in this, Manson's former assistant, Ashley Walters. By the way, this was the person who took all of the information, the private information that she was privy to as his assistant, passwords, social media passwords, text messages, DMs, all of his contacts. She took all of this and handed it over to Evan Rachel Wood and the other co-conspirators, completely unauthorized and illegally. But anyway, I wonder if you're aware that this woman, the reason why she is angry at Manson is because, at Brian Warner, is because she is a disgruntled former employee who stole his car, took it on a drunken joyride, was arrested and was charged with a DUI. And that's why he fired her. That's why she's no longer in his employment, among other reasons. So I wonder if you're aware of that. These are the type of people that we are dealing with here. I know that they seem sweet and attractive and worthy of empathy, but that's not the case. And these are a number of very disturbed, manipulative individuals who have their own various agendas that have nothing to do with the truth. or with justice. Now, Ashley Walters was not alone on this joyride when she stole Brian Warner's Jaguar and drove it drunk and wrecked it and got arrested. Guess who else was on this joyride? This unauthorized theft of the car, Esme Bianco. Because Esme Bianco and Ashley Walters were thick as thieves. You know, all of these women are connected. And all of this is in their own court filings. That's what's hilarious about this. They admit to this stuff. But yeah, Esme Bianco went along with Ashley Walters when she stole Manson's car and wrecked it in her drunken joyride and was arrested. This is the type of people we're dealing with here. Now, Esme Bianco, who you shared the stage with yesterday, and have been supporting online publicly, when she was in her civil proceedings against Brian Warner, all of her evidence leaked online. It was a lawyer snafu, lawyer screw up, and all of her evidence leaked online and is still out there, actually, to those who know where to go and get it, but it leaked online. And not only was there nothing incriminating toward Manson, but there was actually a lot of really embarrassing, incriminating stuff about her that came out. That is stuff that I would expect will probably at some point come out. I wonder if you're aware also, sir, that the police, the LA Sheriff's Department, investigated Brian Warner extensively for almost 2 years. And they seized all of his electronic devices, scoured through them intensely. They know everything about the guy. 2-year almost investigation, interviewed all sorts of people. I, in fact, have talked to and interviewed on my YouTube channel people that the detectives also interviewed. And they came up with nothing, and they closed the case. As you know, they closed the case and they sent the file over to DA Gascon. He's been sitting on it because his detectives have told him that this is a scam and a hoax and it's BS. And he doesn't want to take the political hit that he would take if he came out and admitted that it was BS and cleared Manson. So that's what, look, I understand that Gascon and his office, they've got big problems with delays in a number of other cases. But in this case, the issue, yes, he's intentionally delaying it, but it's because Manson is innocent and this thing is a hoax. And the detectives know that. This hoax has received the public backing of various prominent Democrats in California, various prominent Democratic politicians in California. And so when Evan Rachel Wood, for example, testified before the California Assembly about her supposed abuse, she was backed by and sitting next to and introduced by California State Senator Susan Rubio. Rubio is not the only one. There have been a number of very powerful Democratic politicians in California and also outside of California, nationwide, who have written letters to the FBI and other government entities on behalf of Evan Rachel Wood and the other accusers, and have stood next to them at rallies and have introduced them and dined with them and taken pictures with them and all of this on record publicly. And I'm afraid now that you've added yourself to a list of politicians publicly supporting these women. But it's not too late for you because you've just started talking about this and you can back away from it. So I'm not naive enough to think that you could come out and make a declaration against this hoax or say that you've changed your mind or you're no longer supporting Esme Bianco and Manson. But you can at least drop this and stop promoting it because this isn't the cause. And, you know, I also hate it for you as a Republican, as a conservative, someone who's trying to turn the page on the liberal policies of Gascon. It bothers me, too, to see you getting sucked into a left-wing setup and a left-wing project. I mean, that's what this has been from the very beginning. And Evan Rachel Wood herself started this whole thing, and she's on record saying this in an interview. She started this whole thing when Trump got elected as a reaction to Trump. This thing from the very start has been interwoven with extreme left-wing politics. But let me just make a suggestion here. Just back away from this, slow down, stop promoting these people, and just wait and see what happens. Because Marilyn Manson, Brian Warner, he has sued Evan Rachel Wood and her co-conspirator, one of her main co-conspirators, the woman who helped her falsify the FBI document, the FBI letter. he has sued them in civil court, and that's still making its way through the court. So, that's something else on the horizon that might be embarrassing to you, having supported these women against him, because there's going to be a lot of embarrassing stuff that's going to come out in that civil trial, stuff that's going to make these accusers look really, really bad, and is going to expose this hoax perpetrated against him. So I would just encourage you, when you do get into office, it's not going to be too long, right? Just a matter of weeks. I would encourage you to have a serious talk with your detectives, because they have investigated this case thoroughly, and they know not only that it's BS, but they know it's a hoax. And I've actually talked to several of the people that they interviewed in the course of their investigation, and the impression of those people was also that the detectives are very, very skeptical about this. And of course, it was reported in TMZ some time ago. It was leaked by one of the detectives on the case, or one of the police working the case, that that there were significant credibility issues with the accusers, and that's why the case wasn't going forward. So your detectives know this, your police know this. Talk to them, okay? Let me just say a couple of more things. Why do you think it is that in the wake of Me Too, there are so many people in the music industry that are welcoming Marilyn Manson, Brian Warner back? He's got a record deal, he's touring, he's working with all these people, including a number of prominent women in the music industry. Why do you think they're working with him? It's because they know the truth. They have seen evidence that maybe you haven't seen, and they know that he's innocent. And that's why so many people are moving forward with him. I also wonder if you're aware that Evan Rachel Wood and her primary co-conspirator in this also committed computer fraud against Manson. And they tried to incriminate him with illicit porn that they were sending to other people. They had him swatted. This is on record. Evan Rachel Wood's co-conspirator, Ilma Gore, called in a fake concern to the FBI. So he was basically swatted. All of these cops and helicopter and stuff showed up at his place. And at the same time, Evan and her co-conspirator Ilma called the paparazzi to go to Manson's house so that they could get all of this on camera and could get the police on camera at his house. I mean, this is an extensive, well-coordinated, absurd, unbelievable hoax. Very much in the style of what we saw with Amber Heard, except worse. Also, sir, I think you need to ask yourself why it is that Rose McGowan, the person who brought down Harvey Weinstein and started Me Too, you have to ask yourself why she, who was engaged to Manson, Brian Warner, and lived with him for years, why she has not accused him of assault or abuse or anything like that. In fact, she says that he was a loving, tender partner to her. And his ex-wife says the same thing. His current wife says the same thing. I mean, I've interviewed women on my channel who dated him and said that he was kind and sweet and a pushover when it came to women, and that they don't recognize this person that's being described by these accusers. So look, I don't expect you to expose this hoax or anything like that, but I really hope that you will reconsider your support of these women and who you're getting into bed with, so to speak, because I can promise you this is not good for you. And it's not going to wear well in the long run. And I just have to say also that as someone who has known women who have been sexually assaulted, I've had some good friends who've gone through some terrible things. I just think that it is so awful and hideous and sad and infuriating that there are women out there who will use those tragedies for their own ends and will lie and make up stuff and pretend that things happened that didn't, all for their own selfish ends. It's really sad. And I just wonder also, when the public one day discovers how much money, how much taxpayer money was wasted on this investigation, this hoax. You have multiple detectives on this, people traveling all over the place, interviewing witnesses. And this is an extensive investigation. I'm sure it cost a ton of money. And I just wonder, does it bother you that the resources, government resources, taxpayer money was wasted in this way when police could have been investigating other crimes? Okay, if Gascon has this extensive backlog of cases that he didn't get around to, then how much worse is it when you have these false accusers who are utilizing the system for their own ends? And honestly, sir, this just is the tip of the iceberg. This just scratches the surface of all of the craziness in this story. So I just don't think that you know what you've gotten yourself into, and I hope you can extricate yourself from it. And if you really had some guts and you really wanted to make some headlines for yourself, I think that exposing Me Too hoaxes of this nature going after people like this who game the system, manipulate the system, take advantage of the system, and take advantage of other people's credulity and goodwill, such as yourself, take advantage of people like you for their own ends. I think it would be amazing if someone in our government had the guts to go after these people, some of these people, for perjury and some other offenses. But, maybe you can't. I don't know. But I really hope that you will reconsider your course of action on this. And as someone who has been for 4 years trying to expose this, it is so disheartening to me to see someone like you who's fighting for change and who represents change aligning yourself with these kinds of lies. I just hope that you'll reconsider this. Check out my work. I'm not the only one. All kinds of people have been talking about this on social media, YouTube channels. I mean, even major figures like Candace Owens. I don't know how you feel about her, but major figures. So I don't know, maybe it just slipped under your radar a bit. But I encourage you to do the research and check this out. Thank you so much for your time.